multiple online business projects. One of them, which I thought was really, really very cool for travelers, it was called Enjoy Travel, and it let travelers pick the activity and the destination that they wanted to visit together. So that if somebody wanted to go sailing, but also go horseback riding and also play golf, they could put those things into the filters and it would give them the right destinations for them so that they could really ensure that they had a great travel experience. I think that idea was ahead of its time. I hope you make a resurgence with that again, Jason. But over his career, he's also helped a lot of his clients. I guess 35 loyal clients over the years, and helping them bring in over $65 million in revenue. So thank you so much for joining us today, Jason.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jeremiah.
Excellent. And a quick housekeeping note, please enter your questions on the top right-hand side. I guess it's that way, right? Stage right. So enter your questions as we go through this. This is an open forum type of discussion. We want to have a really productive conversation. So let's make it interactive. And with that, I'm going to throw the ball over to you, Jason, and let's go for it.
All right. Thanks, Jeremiah. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, you know, Jeremiah and I have been working on this project, and one of the great things that I enjoy about doing this is I get to work with new businesses. I get to work with and existing businesses that want to grow, expand, or modify their business in order for better growth, better profitability, or in maybe even enter new markets. The key to what I have found at the end of the day is strategic partnerships. We have that term is spread out quite a bit, but this is going to be a question and answer. I'm going to share a lot of questions that are actually asked to me or have been asked to me by my customers prior to us getting to know each other, prior to us actually working together, and then also through the process of working together, not only on project 1 or project 2 or project 3, but ongoing. And it's amazing, you know, Jeremiah mentioned that I have 35 clients. You know, I probably have tons more than that, but my key 35 are really the ones that I use to build this checklist. Basically, it's questions and statements that have been brought up to me. So there will be a quick pause, and from there, what we'll do is I'm going to share my screen, and it'll just be a presentation real quick. It won't be boring. It'll be interactive. Please ask questions. Please raise your hand if you have any questions, and we'll go from there and address them accordingly. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So can everybody see my screen? I see yes. How about you, Jeremiah? Everything good? All right. So the checklist. Make a list of your current partners. You know, we're talking about strategic partners. We're talking about not partners, business partners that are signing the lease with you. These are strategic partners outside your wheel well that are actually going to help build your business. You know, think of it as a wagon wheel approach, or really even a spider web approach, that we look at how does a company grow, expand, and become long-term and sustainable. And from what I have found is those with strategic partnerships actually do that. So one example is make a list of your current partners. You know, when I started Enjoy Travel, as one example, we had great marketing. We had a partner with an advertising agency firm that does great creative. We had strategic partners with Independent Hotel Group, which is a group of hotels that are non-branded throughout the world. So they were a strategic partner for us. We wanted to drive business to them. We also had a list of activity associations, that outdoor adventure associations that were our partners that help promote our business. and another example I would say is an aviation company that I'm working with that they have partnerships with federal agencies. You know, being the FAA in aviation helps guide them through building hangar maintenance facilities, making sure that they're doing things the right way. So it's not necessarily regulatory, but it could also be a strategic partner because they could help market their particular business on their government approved sites. So we can look at it that way as well. Number two, who do you want to partner with that you don't currently? You know, this is a really great question because, you know, we established our current partners. We established like, okay, these are the ones that I know that are close to home, that I know that are going to help me and my business get off the ground. But who are those strategic partners that we haven't connected with? And who are the ones that you want to? And part of our consulting firm and what we do is our steps that we do with our clients is really look at and brainstorm through all the different facets. And I'll give you one great example. The aviation company that I've been recently working with is they built their business, a very strong business, and they were doing lots of repairs on a lot of airplanes, and their maintenance shop was full all the time. The problem with it is they were at max capacity. All businesses get to that point that they could not expand anymore. So eventually, they had to figure out, how do I expand my business without building new buildings? Because it's a huge expense. And so one of the brainstorming ideas we came up with between the partners and everyone on the team was to create an affiliate network to be able to distribute parts throughout other areas. So we partnered with other like-minded businesses that could benefit from the partnerships that we have with manufacturers. So they became dealer reps in a sense. It helped us grow our business, and it helped the end user grow their business. So those are the things that my clients benefit from. Another great example would be an ice cream shop down in Sanibel. They sell a lot of ice cream, over $1 million in ice cream a year on Sanibel Island. And one little store is about 1,800 square feet. But they were at max capacity. At the end of the day, they couldn't sell anymore. So we created a plan for them to partner with Italian restaurants throughout the Southeast to place mini stores and sell their ice cream in those Italian restaurants. And so it created distribution. It created more opportunity for them to sell on a regular basis during their off season and during their on season, and it helped grow their business. So strongly suggest part of the checklist is, who do you want to partner with that you don't currently? All right, number three, resources. How do we, or what resources do we have and need to fulfill our goals? I am an idea guy, and a lot of times I create a bunch of ideas, and then the goal with my team is they say, okay, great idea, Jason. Well, how do we get there? I want to be in Paris, but how do I get there? You know, I want to be here. I want to grow my business to $1 million, but how do I get there? You know, so we have to look at the resources that we have in order to grow our business. One thing that I like to talk to all my customers with is you know, one coined term is called bandwidth, right? We all have bandwidth. We all have so much we want to do, and while also maintaining our balance of work and life. One thing that I'd like to do is talk with each of my customers and say, okay, and what resources do you have right now that will generate additional revenues or additional power to get to your goals, or energy really is a better term. And a lot of times customers know what they have, and a lot of times customers or my clients don't really know what they have until somebody like us comes in and says, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then that starts the process of building that resource list. And then we identify where we want to be, right? So I want to go to Paris. Well, I can get my car all the way to the airport, but I don't have an airplane. So I need an airplane to get to Paris, right? So I partner, in theory, I partner with Delta. I pay for a ticket and I go on Delta and I end up in Paris, right? It's the same concept. When you're trying to grow your business, there's only so much you can do on your own. That's why strategic partnerships are so important, because we let people do, or other businesses help support us and do the things that they're best at and allow us to do what we're best at. Perfect example, Enjoy Travel, right? We were great at connecting the two, but we can't run hotels. The other side is we can't rent kayaks. You know, ultimately, our strategic partners that are selling the kayak tour or selling the hotel room had to be on board. So we had to build a great relationship with those resources. So does anyone have any questions right now that would be interesting, that of interest to you? Sorry, I'm shifting gears here a little bit. All right, so moving on to another great question that has just recently came up. Are you willing to try a new approach to growing your business? You know, this was a key question for me when I got to the point of talking with a client, and we had grandiose plans, and the client had, and my customers had great plans. Like, we want to be in 15 cities, and we want to expand from $5 million to $20 million in revenue. I said, great. Well, are you willing to try a new approach in growing your business? And that particular customer said, no. I've built my business from 0 to 5 million. This way, I want to continue to do it the same way. And I throw a little caution flag up, not really a red flag. I throw a yellow flag up. The keys to strategic partners is thinking about how you can look on how our strategic partners are doing business and how can we build our business a little bit better and a little differently, and or to grow our business to achieve our goals. So we're going to take a quick pause before we get to the fifth one. And I believe Jeremiah may have a question here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so Jeremiah asked a quick question. This is wonderful. How to expand your business without building new buildings? And what resources do you have right now that will generate the energy it takes to get to your goals? Those are both great questions. And one thing that I've noticed is resources that are internal can help us or hurt us. If you have resources that are helping you and being able to expand, our team can look at it and go, what is the best allocation for these? The second thing is how do you expand your business without building new buildings? Well, really, creating a new distribution model and or partnering and allowing these strategic partners to really sell your business is a great way to do that. And then another great question is how should I get started creating strategic partnerships? Okay, so how should I get started creating strategic partnerships? Well, this really leads into the creative process on how do I get started, and that's actually a really great question, because sometimes my client in Sanibel was like, well, I've just been doing this way for so long. Where do I start? And what we like to do is sit down, spend about 2 hours, and sometimes it goes in much longer than that, sometimes shorter, but usually it's about 2 hours long. And we go through where you're at now, where do you want to be, and whiteboard the process. I alluded to the spider web approach, right? We put us in the center. Usually we put ourselves in the center, right, and then go from there. Well, maybe we need to look at it a different way and not put ourselves in the center. Maybe we put our strategic partner that we really want to be a partner with and put that person in the center of it and see in the spider web, where do we fit? Are we in the first ring? Are we the second ring? Are we in the third ring? You know, is there a lot more work to become a strategic partner than we hoped? Those are what our team likes to do. The second thing, part of the creative process, is once we throw all these ideas out on the board and all these strategic partners that we want to partner with, then what we do is we narrow them down to what is the most effective use of our time. You know, we talk about bandwidth. We talk about how much a medium size or small business is doing everything, right? Your marketing, your president, your HR, your recruiter, your trainer, your finance, your everything, right? So we really want to make reasonable and achievable mini goals in order for you to get to your large goal or your ultimate goal. Another great question for somebody that's on is most businesses are based on old paradigms. How do you find partnerships when successful examples don't already exist? This is a great question, and the question that I have, the first example actually that comes to mind is with Enjoy Travel. We think, okay, enjoy travel, activity, golf, connect them with a hotel and an activity provider in a particular area. Well, one of the ideas that I came up with this for this company, which was a great success, is we partnered with Mango Languages. Mango Languages is an online tutorial conversational language software training, very similar to a Rosetta Stone or one of the other online language training programs. And I spoke with them. I spoke with the CEO and the technology officer, and I said, hey, can we create a partnership with our members to learn languages, to go to countries that they want to do their activities? Enjoy Travel partnering with Mango Languages. Most travel sites no travel sites at the time had ever connected with a online language training program for their guests. It was usually, oh, by the way, you should go buy this book. Or it was, good luck, or you can use one of our tour operators that's local, that is bilingual, and he's going to walk you through everything. But our goal was to take provide this option for people. So when they signed up, they got it for free. And it was an overall hit because now our customers who really wanted to go travel, maybe they were big into kayaking and they didn't want to kayak in Georgia because they were from Atlanta. They wanted to kayak in the Philippines. Now they could relate. And it also provided additional branding for us because they kept going through our site and our portal, or Enjoy Travel's portal, to the Mango Languages training facility. So another old paradigm, we were talking about aviation. Aviation is probably one of the most advanced and most archaic systems in the world, being that aviation's been around for a long time. A lot of the technology that's in your cars actually was in aviation a long time ago. autopilot, right? You've all heard of that. Airlines have been flying around with autopilot for 20 plus years, and cars don't even have it yet. We're just still, trying to figure out autopilot and autopilot systems and that sort of thing. And it's a bit more advanced than cruise control, being autopilot actually steers your plane. You know what I mean? So we started looking at what are the new ways to promote this company and expand it into the most advanced technologies that are out there. And by being cutting edge within the aviation world, and with new manufacturers like Trig and Stratus and L3 and Garmin, they have the latest products. And by partnering with them, it really it was crucial for them to expand their affiliate network. And just to give you a snapshot of what the success of that is, we launched it. It's a new endeavor. We just started it. We launched it 2 months ago. And in 2 months, we've expanded the affiliate network from 0 affiliates to 26 airports in 14 states. So just by looking at it differently and partnering with creating new strategic partners for the company. So, all right, so I'm going to answer one more great question, and one of them is about media companies. But before I get to that, I'm going to talk a little bit about another customer that I've been working with and about strategic partnerships. And one of them is a company called DreamHack. And DreamHack is an online travel aid, or basically it's an online gaming community that puts on digital conferences throughout the world. And the traditional model for an event, a hotel event, is we create a conference, we do group blocks, we build group blocks for our attendees to secure rooms. And then once those rooms are full, or within 30 days of the event, those are released to the general public. And if you haven't got your reservation, you're kind of on your own. So we sat down and said, how do we partner with a new company to develop a platform in which to facilitate building the business, as well as build the business, as well as increase our revenue stream for both the event organizer, ourselves as a consulting partner, as well as make it a better experience for the attendee. And we created an online travel platform of which that connected hoteliers to last minute bookings, and they book directly to the hotels with a very little commission paid out for the technology fee. And it increases the overall bookings of the event. It also increases trackability so that our hotels, our company can report back to the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the tax bureaus that, hey, we brought X dollars into this city to generate more revenue. It helped overall on tracking purposes for the CVB, the Chamber of Commerce's, the hotels all appreciated it because they were able to track who's coming to DreamHack and why and who they're staying with and how much did they spend in X, Y, and Z. So overall, great success. And that is just purely looking at things a little differently than before. So another great question. Let me see what we have here. Okay, one question is return on investment. We've all heard these terms: return on investment, return on energy, return on synergy, return on everything. You know, everybody wants the final results, and that leads into the last question on my checklist, and that is, how do I track the effectiveness of my hard work? And I'm going to put this on real quick, and you can see my last question. How do I track the effectiveness of my hard work? There are many ways to track the effectiveness of your hard work. If you're doing digital advertising, whether through Facebook pages or through Instagram, you can track it that way. But we advise our customers to look at a long-term growth strategy on their strategic partners, their any modes of distributing the message. You know, Jeremiah pointed this out, you know, sums it up perfectly. If you're going to spend 10 minutes on developing an advertising campaign, spend 9 minutes getting the right message. You know, 90% of our time should be the right message to the right customer. You've heard that in advertising all day long, right? The other thing is a commitment to a sustainable growth model, being if you think that you're going to go from 0 to 100 or 100% of your goal in a very, very short amount of time, maybe your expectations are a little too high. You know, one of my mentors said to me, success is progress over time. And it's crucial for me to look at that. You know, it's kind of like investments. You know, there's these flash in the pans, right? You know, the Bitcoin scenario that if I had only invested $100 9 years ago in Bitcoin, I'd be worth $79 million now, right? Well, that was 7 years of growth. You know, it's not an overnight success. And how do you track effectiveness? The key for me, and I suggest this to all my customers and all my clients, and I do it for my business, is I really look at what is working for me and what is not working for me. And I do it in periods of time. So I say, okay, I have a particular project I'm going to work on, and I'm going to develop this and I'm going to give it 90 days. And during those 90 days, I'm going to look at, am I really affecting this component of my business? Is this strategic partner that I've identified on step number 1 and step number 2 and step number 3, is this partner a resource in which that is going to benefit me, and has it so far? And you as a business owner have to look at your gut and really pay attention to your gut as well as the analytics and say, is this something that is really working or not? And if it is, then do you put more resources to it? And if it's not, do you pull back your resources and shift those to something new? Another great way to track the effectiveness of your hard work is if your business continues to grow through strategic partners and you're working less hours, I think that's a great way to track the effectiveness of your hard work, because ultimately none of us can do this thing alone. None of us can build a business on our own. You know, I can be Jason McKee, consultant, but if I didn't have partnerships with strategic partnerships like with Lauren Gray and Jeremiah Mangone and all those other great guys and men and women that have helped me build my consulting business, it would not be where it is right now. So let me switch over, and I'm going to get back to the webinar, and I'm sure there's take screen share off and then answer a couple other questions. Okay, so one great question, and this is from how can younger people break into entrepreneurship? What partnerships could you suggest? Well, I'm going to have to show you a great slide that is on my website. It's 360 Business Review. And what it talks about is one statement Warren Buffett said was, invest in what you know. And so let me jump over that real quick, because it's really crucial for you guys to understand what my thought process is on this. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to jump to my page. So this is my page. So that's me. And some stuff that I've done, website built, that's clients that I've had, 65 loyal clients, of course, they're still there. But I want to jump over to one thing, and 5 laws of building your business, entrepreneurship, right? Okay, number 1, invest in what you know. Know what to invest. That's kind of a spin on that. If you're going to invest your time, energy, and effort into building a business as a young entrepreneur, start with the items in which that you're interested in, and that you know a little bit about. And it's okay to learn new things, but start with a baseline. The second rule is work with people you like and get along with. Business should be fulfilling and rewarding, not a battle. Crucial to entrepreneurship. The third, partner with people with the same vision. If you are going to partner with people, partner with those businesses and or groups that are there to help and support you, and you are going in the right direction. Number 4, I learned this the hard way. I'll tell you, don't overextend yourself. Okay. The key to entrepreneurship is do not borrow money and or do not set your expectations based on the blue sky. Build a business step by step with strategic partnerships. Will give you one will minimize your risk, and it'll definitely maximize your long-term success. The other key thing, it kind of number 5 goes back to number 1, right? Invest in what you know. But once you become a trusted advisor in a particular area, you'll find your customers and your clients will then trust you on buying a little bit more expensive product if you're a dealer rep, or they're going to want more for the next level, the better product from you, and or more work because they trust you. So those are some of the keys that I hope that answers the entrepreneurial question, because it is crucial. Okay, so one other question that I have that came up was overextending yourself. Do you try and put too much on strategic partnerships and not do your own homework, or not man your own shop? And I think that's crucial. Strategic partnerships, for me, are added ways to grow and expand your business out of your immediate control. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own business. For example, my consulting business, I 100% still call on customers on a regular basis. I do not 100% rely on referrals. I get a lot of referrals, but perfect example, I was on Facebook the other day in a local closed group for a city in which I live in, Peachtree City, Georgia. And there was a gentleman, he put a post on there saying, hey, I just moved from Maine and I get lobsters direct from the docks, and I want to build a business here in Peachtree City and ship lobsters to people. So we started talking a little bit, and I thought that was interesting. So I sent an instant message to him, and I actively tried to secure him as a client. That's prospecting, that's building your business. And we had a lengthy conversation. At the end of the day, he was doing business his way. So we went through the checklist. One of them is who's your current partners? 2, do you want to partner with people? He wanted to partner with like Publix and Kroger's and stuff. What resources do you have? He had lobsters, but he didn't have a point of distribution, right? So he needed help with that. He also needed an e-commerce website. He needed some other things. And then I asked him, are you willing to try a new approach to growing your business? And that's where we hit a wall. Because when I asked him that question, he said, no, I want to do it this way. I said, okay, so is it working? And he said, no. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's his decision. But my perspective is for us to grow our business, we need to, one, always look for new business, and two, realize that sometimes some business is not our business. And if we continue to expect other people to always be a partner or always be a client, maybe that's not really a fair expectation. So I am going to switch back, stop sharing real quick. And I have one more question, is how does, when do you take one for the team in order to grow your partnerships? Okay, so the quote unquote is take one for the team, obviously. Oops, let me see, that's perfect. Sorry guys. So partnerships are a two-way street. One thing that I found is if it's all one way, obviously somebody's going to leave a partnership. It's just like a relationship, right? If you have a friend, if you have a wife or family, at the end of the day, there's a give and take mentality. Partnerships are also that way. So a lot of times you can maybe break even on a particular product or service in order to benefit the partnership. So that's a good one. And how does that lead to long-term relationships? I think it goes back to the trusted advisor thing that I had mentioned in the checklist. If we have a partnership and we truly are dedicated to this partnership and really want to grow our partnerships and want to build our partners' business more than building our own and have that service mentality, everybody wins. And the greatest thing is when you have other partners that want to do the same for you, like my partner, Jeremiah, wants to see my business grow as I want to see Jeremiah's business grow. So there's lots of different ways and I want my partners to grow, because if my partner's business grows or my client's business grows and their strategic partner's business grows, who wins in all of it? Everybody does. So what are some of the coolest partnerships you see companies forming these days is another great question. Wow. There are some cool stuff out there. We kind of get all twisted up on technology and Twitter and Facebook and everything else. But what I've seen in my world, just grassroots in a local market, is I love it when a for-profit business partners with a non-for-profit that helps grow their business. And one great example is there's Schwinn. Schwinn was a big bike company, but there's Taxi is another great bike company. And what they did is they partnered with local ride shares in various cities and said, we will provide a certain number of bikes for your local areas to build bikes to help with young kids and teens that are in trouble, to give them a project. And it was a great strategic partnership because one, it built branding with their bikes, but it also helped in the local community as well. And I think that's absolutely crucial for a for-profit business to find that service partner. And that's what's really cool about it all. I'm going to take a quick, about 15-second break. What's the difference between a good strategy and a good marketing tactics? Ooh, strategy versus tactics. One great thing about building your plan is at 30,000 feet, you become a strategic thinker. You build it at a 30,000 feet mentality. And then it's, how do you facilitate? We were talking about the I want to get to Paris, right? I have to drive to the airport. I have to plan it. I have to park right. I have to go to the right place. I need to, what's cost effective for me, and buy the ticket and go from there. Same concept with building a strategic partnership is by laying out your plan on how your strategic partnership is going to benefit them, in return helping you, and the steps in which that you're going to do to help build their business will truly magnify your business and help it out in many different ways. Another great, when I was talking with the ice cream shop, I refer to the ice cream shop because I just recently got off the phone with her and we were talking about how to build her franchise model and everything else. And we were talking about strategic partnerships, and you know, one thing that came up was, well, we need more SEO, we need search engine optimization, is what she kept saying, and these are all the buzzwords, these are all the things that are out there, that, you know, kind of like this shiny object syndrome. You get a little buzzword, you know, you're on LinkedIn and somebody pops up and has a video about how they can grow your business in, you know, I went from $0 to $7 million in t-shirt sales in 48 hours, you know, those kind of things. And as a business consultant, what I do, I sit down with a client and say, what is truly reality? Okay. Overnight successes are businesses that have been built for many, many years. Planning has gone on, strategy has gone on for many, many months and or years. You know, the Temptations is a great example. This band was on the road for almost 15 years, and then they had one big hit, and then they were an overnight success, quote unquote, right? Well, it was so much work done. They were on the road for all those years, and then they had a big hit, and then what happened? They became a big hit, right? But it was all the hard work before. It took planning. It took strategy. Hey, where are we going to go? Where are we going to sing our songs? Where are we going to perform? How are we going to attract a new customer base? And that's in the 50s, you know? So you got to think, like, today, we're actually inundated with even more shiny objects. You know, we're inundated with hundreds of companies that say that they can do everything and build your business in 48 hours or 72 hours, or in 2 weeks you're going to have your own sustainable business. And to be quite honest with you, that's really not true. We all have to build our business. We have to create a strategy, and the tactics are which that we get and make the strategy a reality, and a sustainable strategic partnership business. Okay, so partnerships are one thing. You know, we all have relationships and partnerships, and the one thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is the quote unquote exit strategy. If you've ever been in business, everybody asks within a couple of weeks of building a new business is, what is your exit strategy? And it could be, you know, 48 hours and say, you know, this isn't for me, or it could be 48 years, right? So when you go into a strategic partnership, I always suggest that it's not for life. It is a way that it may be just a part of the strategy in order to develop your long-term goals. And there's partners that come in and out. You know, this aviation company was a great example. We partnered with a flight school to help test some products. But then once the testing was done, that strategic partnership went away because we didn't need it anymore and they didn't need it anymore. Now, ultimately, it was a great relationship because, one, it taught their students about new products. Two, it gave us the testing platform for the hotel, for the company to actually build. And three, we both knew that once the testing was done, we exited the partnership, and that's okay. The other thing is sometimes strategic partnerships don't work out. You know, we partnered with one company that we thought was going to be a great success and a great hit. when we built Enjoy Travel. And when my customer built Enjoy Travel, he had said, this is a great way for us to expand our business. And ultimately it was not. And that's okay. Things don't work out. There's no guarantees in life. However, through my experience, through working with so many different clients on the ups and downs and the lefts and the rights and the pitfalls, our team really knows what works for the most part. There are certain things, nobody's perfect. Not everything's going to work for everybody, but I do know that it's important for us to understand that we try and we do the best that we can. And historically, we've done a very good job. Okay, so we all have our business, and we know our business inside and out, and we can give a 15-page marketing plan to really anybody, and we can spit it out. But the most difficult thing for us to do sometimes is to create the elevator pitch, especially if you're knee-deep in your own business, right? So one question that has been brought to me is I'm a business. I've identified the strategic partner that I want as a potential partner for me. How do I approach them? What do I say, and what do I do? And the first thing is I want to approach them as a friend, building a relationship. The goal is, through all of this, is to build and maintain strong relationships with people that we like to work with. And the initial conversation I have, just like if I was going to go up to a client and ask them to get to know them or potentially ask for their business, is the first question out of my mouth is this is who I am, and I feel like my company partnering with your company and co-branding or co-marketing may be beneficial for both of us. And here is why. And give one or two examples of how you think you can share your customers with them, being that service mentality, and then how possibly their customers would get greater benefits by maybe buying some of your services. So it has to be a win-win on both sides. I do know that all companies can benefit from referrals. All companies can benefit from additional customers that are right for their business. And I will talk about this point in one example. I was at a local grocery store, and I was walking my dog. I was going through the strip mall, and I was walking by, and I was talking to this company, and I was just explaining, we just moved to the area and everything else, and I was looking for somebody to wash my dog, and the person referred me to another company right there in the same area. I couldn't see it, but they referred me to this little place that washes dogs. And it sounds trivial, like it's a referral, but when I went to that company and said, hey, this person over at the grocery store referred me to you, he said to my face, he said, that's so awesome, because I had just given them little postcards with some doggy treats and said, hey, can you refer people to me? That's a very simple strategic partnership. And he got a customer out of it just by simply doing a little marketing, a little walking and face-to-face with somebody else and saying, hey, I'm not a competing business, but I complement your business, because like-minded people that shop in grocery stores may also have a dog, and if so, send them our way. We'll give them doggy treats and wash their dog. And it was a perfect strategy. It all worked out, and it was a win for everybody. And now I have a subscription, a 12-month subscription of getting my dog washed anytime I want. And it's like $35 a month, and I don't have to deal with it, and I don't have to wash my master bathroom anymore. So it's perfect. So All right, one other question that I had was, okay, so here's the age-old question of the difference between marketing and sales. Marketing is getting name recognition of your product and service out to other people. Sales is them actually buying it. The challenge that a lot of people have, my clients have, is they spend lots of money in advertising and marketing with no trackability and with no sales. And ultimately, it goes back to number 5 on our checklist, right? How do you track it? How do you track sales? And I think it's very, very important that you minimize your marketing, shotgun approach marketing, and focus very specifically on as close to home as possible. And identifying the characteristics of that person that is most likely going to buy from you. And now I'll give you an example. I was talking to a consultant. Another consultant who he does a lot of work with the National Wildlife refuges in the country, and we were talking about Enjoy Travel and our partnership in there and this and going back and forth. And one thing he said is build an avatar of your ideal customer, right? So I said, avatar, like the movie. He goes, well, no, but sort of. It's more so you build a profile of your customer that is most likely going to buy from us. So when we looked at, and I use that every day, I use that for who most likely is going to buy from this customer or this customer or this customer. And a very good example of that was in avionics and aviation. There are lots of airplane owners, there's helicopter owners, there's people all over the world that buy and sell helicopters, and they buy and sell parts. And when I was talking to this customer, my current customer, he said, or my current client, he said, well, maybe we should do this and this and this and this and this. And I said, okay, so who's your ideal customer? And he stopped for a second and he rattled off exactly who his ideal customer was. I said, okay, so that's your ideal customer. So who is your ideal potential customer? So that's the difference between ideal customer, you focus on the direct sales aspect of it. The ideal potential customer is where you spend your marketing dollars. And that's the difference. Because if you're advertising and spending dollars and resources to get more of your current customer, you probably won't grow your business as much as if you identify new marketing strategies and or new ways to attract new business to your potential customers. And that's the difference. And that's the approach, the mindset that all customers need to have, all my clients, that we try and instill in them. And same with me. I like to evolve. I like to get evolve my clients from X to Y to Z, but then sometimes X is the best customer for me. So if that makes any sense, hopefully it does. Okay, so moving on. What are the red flags that your business building is following the field of dreams approach? Okay, so blue sky, field of dreams. There's lots of things. Red flags are crucial. I like to stay in the greens and yellows by all means, because yellows can be reds or they can become greens. You know what I mean? But what I would suggest with this is the field of dreams approach is well, I'll just build a business and customers are going to come to me. Well, I don't know if that's really true or not, because if you don't have a customer base to begin with to set a target, how would you know? Now, for example, there are resources out there. There's lots of analytics out there. There's a lot of new technologies out there. There's lots of different business avenues if you want to build a new business. But what I would suggest is you take a hard look at, and even through surveys or talking to your current customers, or what are the products and services in which that they would want you to maybe carry and or be able to offer them in the future. That could build a solid foundation of potential strategic partners in which that you could build this partnership and help your current customers with these new strategic partnerships and grow your business. Another thing to keep in mind is we're almost to the top of the hour, but one thing I would strongly recommend is looking at your current strategic partners, if you have any, and if you don't have any, what are the ones that you would most likely see a revenue benefit growth from, and focus on that. And if you want more information, if you want to talk, I have some time. We can set up a schedule, a time, a phone interview or an in-person interview if you'd like, and we can go through a lot of things. And go from there. So Jeremiah has a question. I'm a copywriter working in the hospitality field, but looking at all the property management systems out there, I can't tell them apart. What kinds of partnerships could be used for building their USP? So that is a very good question, and I would have to defer to one of my teams to talk a little bit more about property management systems on that one. That's a tough one. I'll have to get back to you on that one, Jeremiah. Well, so we're almost out of time. What we can do is I'll pass it over to Jeremiah and let him take it from there. And that's a great question. Maybe we can follow up on the second phase of this seminar on property management systems and copywriting. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Well, thank you for that. The reason I brought it up is because I love your creative process. You always have a way of looking at a business, and instead of looking at a hotel on the beach and saying, hey, it's a beach destination, you look in the backyard and you see that it's a health and wellness destination, right? So you have a great way of framing businesses so that when a customer sees it, they get something different from every other hotel that's on the beach in that area, for example. So I thought I would just throw that out there. But really, thank you so much, Jason. I really enjoyed all of your answers, your experience, all that stuff. I'm going to rewatch this, and I'm also going to take the sections of this video. I'm going to cut them together into a really nice FAQ document that I'm going to provide to everybody at the end of this 5-day series. So thanks so much for all your time, Jason.
Okay, appreciate it so much. And there is that checklist is actually downloadable. So if you want to click on the file sharing tab, if I'm wrong, Jeremiah, please flag me on that. But
right there, yes.
But it's right there, file sharing. So you can have this checklist and just download it. I'll print it off, and then you can make notes on it. And then my contact information is, of course, on there as well. So we'll go from there. Thank you again. Have a wonderful afternoon.
This is really great. Thank you so much. We'll just keep this rolling and keep the interviews, keep the conversations going, and we'll publish another book on this next year.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. And feel free to ask questions. Even on the replay, I've set this so that the questions will come to us, so you can still join the conversation. All right? Hope you're having a great day. Bye, everybody.